All right. Well, welcome to the Meet St. Tammany podcast. I got these beautiful ladies here, and I'm not going to try to say everybody's name because I'm going to get them backwards. So y'all can introduce yourselves in a minute. But you guys are with the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals.
Yes.
Correct.
Nailed it.
Correct.
And there's an acronym for it too, but I won't try to get that right either. But today is to introduce what y'all do to the Northshore. Let people know of what y'all's purpose is, what events you have coming up, and how y'all are just adding value to everybody in our community. And like we said earlier, you mentioned it, the Hispanic community is supporting the real estate market right now. And I think it's important for people to know that and to know that there's resources like you guys that can help people better understand how to service the Hispanic community, but really anybody who's looking to buy and sell real estate.
Yes, exactly.
And so again, today we want to clarify what y'all's organization's purpose is, right? And we talked about y'all's competencies and y'all's objectives, and we'll talk about those things.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, I think before we even get started, I want people to understand that this group is not for just people in the Hispanic community.
Correct.
It's for real estate
Everybody.
professionals in general, and how you can become a better real estate professional and also service the Hispanic community. Right?
Correct.
Yes.
So let's start with the core objectives for the
Absolutely.
group. Tell us what those are.
So my name is Bianca Vania. I'm with the chapter president for the NAHREP Southeast Louisiana chapter. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having us. The purpose of NAHREP in general is to advance sustainable home ownership and build wealth for the Latino community. Cool. As you mentioned, the Latino community, the Hispanic community is carrying the real estate industry right now. We saw last year a growth of 441,000 net homeowners, additional homeowners, a growth of 139% year over year, which makes up for other demographics loss.
And that's national, right? That's
National statistics, cool. Correct. So the fact that this demographic alone is carrying the real estate industry right now in the state that we're in with everything that's happening is huge. So this is our mission. And as far as NAHREP itself, we have core objectives, and our core objectives are education and empowerment, equipping and training real estate and mortgage professionals who serve Hispanic home buyers and sellers, policy advocacy, lobbying at this local level, state level, and federal levels for housing policies that support access to credit, affordable housing inventory, and fair lending practices. And then last but not least, our biggest thing is wealth building, bridging the wealth gap and promoting overall economic prosperity for Latinos through publications like the State of Hispanic Wealth Report, which is where this information is coming from.
I think it's cool because before we talked on camera, we were trying to clarify y'all's message a little bit, and we talked a lot about it's less about the consumer and more about people that are servicing the consumer.
Correct.
And letting people know, like, you have to first be a great real estate agent and real estate professional, mortgages, you mentioned that, and insurance, right? Before you can service anybody.
Exactly.
And then after beyond that, this networking in this community, people who live within the Hispanic community and our local government, our local state and community, y'all are then helping people understand how to also service that community, right?
Exactly.
And, I think that we talked about some of the things that passed in the legislature to go straight into the advocacy side.
Correct.
And how those things can affect real estate professionals, the real estate market, but also the Hispanic community, right? A lot of Hispanic buyers and sellers that I deal with are buying creatively, right? They're buying on bond for deed terms and credit sale terms. They're buying off-market deals or from wholesalers. And that was a big part of the legislation this year, was the new bill that was related to wholesaling and how that protects the consumer. And at y'all's event you have coming up soon, which we'll talk about in a second, y'all have somebody that's going to come and speak about that exact legislation.
Correct.
And,
We sure do.
Yeah, and I think that's huge. It's important. Most people aren't getting that. They don't even know that exists. They're scared of wholesaling, first of all. And second of all, they don't know what is being done to help protect people against bad actors, which are in every industry, in every area of it, right?
Yeah.
I think that we go back to the education part of it. I think the more you talk about it, the more, we can disperse any doubts and things like that, because the whole point of it is to benefit everyone and to make it clear for everyone. And, as you were saying, that's really one of the key objectives for our organization.
Right.
I love education. Like, we do a big CE event for real estate agents every year. It's one of my favorite things to do, right? I just love talking about the business. Real estate is a great thing to me. So being that y'all's first core competency or core objective is education and the events that y'all are doing. Let's talk about the 3 events you have coming up before the end of the year. One's coming up soon, so this might go out before it actually is. Before that, this might come out after the event's over. But let's talk about the event and what y'all have planned, so people can kind of get a taste for what y'all are doing.
So before she goes into that, I just want to say that the events, there are 4 signature events that we do a year.
Yeah.
And this is the avenue that we use to implement these core objectives. And so she's going to go ahead and explain what the events
what you got
are.
going on this year.
Yes.
So really, really excited. We hosted our first event in February. It was Mardi Gras themed, and it really kicked off. And we had an amazing speaker. An inspirational speaker was actually Catherine Clemitis.
Cool.
She's an artist, a famous New Orleans artist, and she also wrote a book, Looking Up. She was born with a disease that basically she's had thousands of bones breaking in her body. Her bones don't develop when they go to grow. They wind up breaking, but it didn't stop her. And it's about perseverance and about resilience.
Wow.
And then she was followed with the COO, Alejandra Guzman, the COO of the LSU Health Foundation.
Cool.
That's how we kicked it off. And we're continuing this month because it's Homeownership Month, the month of June.
Yeah, cool.
And so we've invited to this event. Our opening remarks will be by Dr. Jenny Maines. She is the Deputy Mayor and Economic Development Director of the City of New Orleans.
Cool.
So she's one of Helena Moreno's right-hand girls, and she'll be kicking it off.
I love that she's a female doing that role too. That's awesome.
Yes, definitely. And then we also have 3 fabulous speakers. The first is going to be Norman Morris. He is the CEO of Louisiana Realtors Association in Baton Rouge. And he's going to be speaking and kind of talking about the state of the industry.
Cool.
And letting us know where we are and where we're headed. And then he'll be followed by Delisha Boyd, who'll be talking about that very housing bill that you spoke about the
wholesaling.
Wholesaling. And so, of course, people know her as a Louisiana state representative, but I don't know if everybody knows that she started as a realtor.
Oh, cool.
And still is a realtor today.
Oh, there you go.
And then we are going to wrap it up with Tim Temple. He's going to be, he's our Louisiana Insurance Commissioner. And we know he's going to be bringing a very hot topic.
Yeah.
Because as you know, insurance has impacted our industry for a while now. And we want to see where we're headed and how we're going to improve in that area. And so then we'll have like a fireside chat where people will have the opportunity to ask questions, or share stories.
All 3 of them?
Absolutely.
Oh, cool.
Well, actually, all 4. I believe Dr. Jen Maines could be there as well.
Cool.
But definitely, we want to give an opportunity for the community, whether you are a home buyer yourself, or if you're a lender, or if you're a realtor, or a title company, that you can ask questions that are affecting your business and have a voice to help make change and make it better for the rest of us.
Yeah. I mean, one if I can say one weakness for most real estate agents is they're not paying attention to these types of details.
100%.
And not understanding why the market is the way it is and what the struggles are for their buyers and sellers. They just do a deal as if it's an everyday thing, and they don't understand the current state of the insurance, about the new legislation that's being passed, and then what real estate agents are having to go through in general from Mr. Norman. So those are great speakers.
I think one of the main goals for us is the education part of it, and that being one of them.
Correct.
Because if you want to have some control, some measurements of what is going on within your industry that is going to affect you, whether you're thinking about it or not, then you need to advocate. You need to be more involved.
And ultimately, how you're going to be able to help your clients understand the state of the industry and what's going on. In order for you to be able to service your clients, you have to understand these issues that we're dealing with.
Right.
And it's a passion of mine too. Sorry, getting a little personal here is my first career. I was an educator. I was a teacher for 11 years, an assistant principal for 5, and a principal for 8. And so something happened where I had to do a career change. It was a health issue, and I got into real estate. And I have learned more about generational wealth and about financing than I ever did as an educator. And I have my master's degree.
Yeah.
And I'm so passionate about this because I am 50%, Hispanic. And even though I don't look it, I've seen how my family has struggled, and I want to make things possible to them, and I want to be a resource. And the only way you could be a good resource for your clients or for your family is to educate yourself.
Yeah. Right.
And now as a current team leader, for the Keller Williams Metairie office, I feel the same way. I want to educate my agents on what's current. So we're constantly bringing, the most current information to them, or speakers that can educate them, or colleagues that are knowledgeable, in order for them to become better in their role in servicing someone else.
Sure.
I think, just like many realtors, most of us, I think, do bring a wealth of knowledge, like in your case, that have
Right.
been, in different businesses situations. So you bring all
We all
that,
do.
basically to benefit your clients because you have to wear different hats.
Yeah.
Right.
Between realtor, a little bit of an attorney, no offense, insurance therapist, and sometimes I've seen people do babysitting.
Yeah.
So, it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But
Right.
I think in your case, for example, I mean, you bring this on board once you became a realtor.
Right, right. In my past career, I was a director of international sales. So I was in a lot of countries promoting the city of New Orleans. Actually, I was an advocate for tourism for the city of New Orleans. So I saw a lot of cultures. In my role, I basically learned how to speak and how to present to different cultures around the world. So this is very near and dear to me because, again, with education equals empowerment.
Yeah.
And so this is our way of empowering our realtors in our community and our real estate professionals to be able to work with our community, with our Hispanic community, and be able to offer the level of service that they deserve.
So from an advocacy standpoint, right, moving to that second core principle that y'all follow, how are y'all advocating in Baton Rouge for the Hispanic community or just real estate professionals in general? Are y'all doing anything structured between the group?
So I'll let you answer that. Yes, for Baton
Well,
Rouge.
As realtors, we have the choice to advocate as a realtor. And then when it comes to NAHREP, it's more like a national platform. We were, for example, a few months ago, we were in Washington, D.C., visiting the offices of Steve Scalise and also Senator Kennedy to find out what's going on with insurance nationwide and some other topics, that are hot topics anywhere that you are anyway. So we had a great experience. There was a big convention of NAHREP. The main sponsor was J.P. Morgan Chase.
Cool.
And so we had people like, from Compass, big people, that came and, it was a variety of different topics from technology to the market, what's happening in housing and what have you. And, a very interesting fact is that things have changed within the U.S. First-time home buyer average age is 40.
Wow.
Within the Hispanic community is 30.
Oh, wow. Okay, very cool.
So, that's where the education part of it comes in.
Yeah.
Many people have never had the experience to have, parents or family members or what have you to guide them in that direction where, okay, I have my first check, what I'm going to do with it.
Yeah.
Buy me a car, do a luxury item or what have you. And one of the, we have 10 specific components, let's put it that way, within NAHREP to guide us how to build that generational wealth, not only for somebody that maybe has never been exposed to good advice, but just everybody, because sometimes, we have a tendency to sidetrack here and there.
Sure.
You have your first commission and you're going to
Get excited about it.
you spend the money. But 3 of the, things that I can mention was learn to live below your means. And be prepared, for the next thing that may happen, within the market, because you just don't know, not only within the market, but also, within the economy nationally.
You grow up thinking that all adults have their stuff together, and then you get to be an adult and you realize that most of them don't.
Right.
But I think that as a young adult, you don't take that.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't take that to heart, right? You get a first check and you start living as if you're going to get that every month.
Above your
Because you just don't know what's going to happen, So you do that, you minimize debt. Because, that plastic can go on and on and on and on.
It's free money.
So that would be another something. And then be politically savvy. Because, I honestly think that unless you really care and you pay attention, things are going to happen and you just don't even know why.
Yeah, get out of control. So this is your third core competency or your core pillar.
Yes.
It talks about wealth building, right? And y'all are teaching these 10 basic steps of wealth building to your members. And you're helping them become better leaders and better
Absolutely.
stewards of their money so that they can help
Right.
then their clients become the same, do the same thing.
Helping
Right?
build generational wealth.
Yep. And so these 10 steps, these are things that y'all talk about at each one of y'all's meetings and y'all at y'all's trainings and stuff like that.
And I tell you very honestly, realtors, that's what we do every day. You care for your community, you find out what the needs are. So this is just a bigger megaphone to do what we do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the price of the property.
Yeah.
You serve everybody the same. You support everybody the same. You pay attention to everybody the same.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
And it's known as our NAHREP 10. It's our 10 core principles.
gotcha.
And it's what we're supposed to live by. What everybody who wants to be financially responsible and be successful and experience wealth needs to do.
I think that you did a good job of saying this earlier today, and then talking about the 3 core principles and seeing that y'all are all passionate about it. You know, why is this group important to the 3 of you? There's a ton of real estate groups out there that you can be a part of. Everybody knows that, right? There's a ton of them. This one is something that's unique, right? Just for the fact that it is a Hispanic based group, and all of y'all speak Spanish, come from those cultures and backgrounds. Why is this so important to you
I
guys?
think I'm going to let Bianca talk about
Sure,
that.
sure. And so for me, the passion that I have in being a part of NAHREP is growing up and having to translate as well for my parents, and having to sit in meetings with them to be able to translate what another professional is doing for them or trying to help them through. So having that level of knowledge now and being able to pass it down to our community is, to me, is just invaluable.
For sure.
And to be able to educate our community not only on purchasing their first home, but also building generational wealth, I think is just, it's our life's mission.
Sure.
I think it's what we want for ourselves, for our families, and the fact that we get to share this with our community it just is the icing on the cake for us as far as that goes.
It's a great service-based mind and heart that you
absolutely.
clearly you all have to be here and wanting to promote this for other people, because a lot of people focus on doing this themselves. I have people who ask me all the time, why do you give back so much of your time and money back to the community? Well, one, it's just the mentality that you have as a business owner. You have to feel like you're adding value to your community. Make your community better and bigger, and more opportunity that will allow you to provide the things that create the goals and that you
I think,
want.
there is always a part where you want to be generous. There has to be that one thing that you do probably on a daily basis for somebody else. I'm sure, for example, you have people that are not your clients and they know who you are, and then at a party or maybe something social, they ask you a question.
My phone's ringing right now. People ask me
So,
questions.
I think it happens to all of us, within the industry, that somehow it connects all of us. And I think everybody happens to do their part.
Yeah.
You really have to love what you're doing.
For sure.
And I think, too, for me, it's the fact that I think a lot of people here don't realize how lucky we are. And having family who lives in a third world country and visiting that country, and then seeing my cousins and family members who are doing everything they can to try and come to this country, for a better life, because they want to achieve the American dream. And what's the American dream? Is to provide for your family. And how do you do that best? Is by providing a home.
It's the first.
And that is what impacted me and made me want to become a member.
Yeah.
Because I saw that my family members were working so hard to establish themselves here, to start and create a new life, because they wanted to provide better for their kids than our ancestors were able to provide for us.
Yeah.
And that's truly the American dream, and I think what we're all about. And for me, that gives me no greater joy than to see or to know that I was able to be a small part in helping somebody achieve their dreams.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, also the fact that this is not only the American dream. I'm originally from El Salvador. You go to El Salvador, and that's everybody's dream, to own a home, to have your own property.
Yeah.
So I think it translates, to everybody.
For sure.
Every country.
For people that are, lucky enough to still have their parents alive, like in your case with your mom, it's like it went from one person to the next, but it's the same dream.
For the same dream. And most business owners, when this clicks in their brains, whenever they go to the next level, and you realize that your entire objective is to help your client or your community to accomplish what they want to accomplish. And the more people you can help accomplish what they want to accomplish, then the more people will try to help you get what you want to accomplish.
Right.
So you're not the hero of the story. They're the hero of the story.
Right.
And if you clearly know what everybody's
Yeah.
looking for, what their goal is, and I think it's the home ownership is important, but you said it, it's becoming the best version of themselves.
Right.
I think is the biggest thing. And a lot of that has to do with being able to provide for your family.
Yeah.
When you become the best version of yourself, then you can provide. And I think these 10 steps help you become the better version of yourself.
Absolutely.
And
Oh,
that's what
absolutely.
everybody's real goal is. And that's what y'all are doing, is helping people become the best version of themselves.
But you know how it is. It's repetition.
Uh-huh.
You have to, read this frequently, remind your clients, remind your friends, remind your family, remind yourself.
For sure. That's the
Because
first
we can
thing.
get sidetracked too.
Yeah. You have
You
to
gotta live it.
You have
Yeah.
to live it.
Live it.
If
Yeah.
you can,
I'll just say it.
the easiest way to hit a ceiling is for you to teach something that you don't do yourself.
Absolutely.
To be a hypocrite, because people are going to know and see right through that, and they're going to see that
Yeah.
you're not being genuine. And if you live the 10 principles every day, your leadership by example is going to be way more than any type of lecture
Absolutely.
or presentation. So before we hop off, I want to talk about the two things. I want to talk about the biggest struggle that y'all think the Hispanic community runs into when they're trying to accomplish that home ownership or become the best version of themselves in the United States and more specifically in our area. Like, what is the biggest struggle that you think that they face?
You want to start with that?
Sure. Well, insurance for one, and that's a general issue, right? But in terms of the Hispanic community, it's access to lending and the knowledge of where to go or how to do it. A lot of our community is not fluent in English, and so having the resources and again, it's broad. You don't have to be Hispanic to be into NAHREP. But at one point or another, you will, especially if you are a realtor who has a growing business and who is interested in diversifying their business and growing their business, you will at one point or another work with a Hispanic family.
Sure.
And so it is in your best interest to have the knowledge to know how to do that and give them the resources of the programs that potentially they could be assistants of. And then also knowing the protocol in terms of like, okay, what title companies can I go to, in terms of being able to have them assist them in their own language,
Translate, yeah.
what lenders, Spanish-speaking lenders. So it's all about the knowledge of the lending and the title companies, where to direct them to. It's basically the whole process, walking them through the whole process.
So from a lending standpoint, what are some solutions that people have come up with to help the Hispanic community from a lending standpoint? Do y'all know any of those things that are resources that they can reach out to off the top of your head, or maybe something that NAHREP offers?
Well, there were more opportunities before. Some of those have been taken back. Like there was opportunities for a lot of residents who had, I-10 loans, which is, I-10 stands for like the individual tax identification number. And that was given to people that had come into the country who were waiting citizenship status.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that got revoked. And a lot of the lending institutions had to cut back on their I-10 loans. That has greatly impacted a lot of Hispanic home buying, because those lending, opportunities are no longer available.
Yeah. What about creative real estate transactions, seller financing, bond for deeds, credit sales? I mean, I find a lot of people in the Hispanic community are comfortable with those.
Yes.
I think that, those have always been choices. The challenge is that, especially if you're a small investor, you don't have the time that a bank does to wait, 30 years for that to be paid. So people are, wanting to do a big down payment. And there may be some cash available, within that community, but people are concerned about, atmosphere and things that are happening. And they want, more certainty. And then when it comes to maybe a different type of property, you, for example, have, condos, that could be a great choice for first-time home buyers because you don't have to struggle that much with the price. But then the loans are just not available.
Yeah, and the insurance is difficult for
that's
those
an
things
issue
too.
there.
Yeah, I think from my biggest roadblock to the Hispanic community is real estate agents not understanding how to properly structure a seller finance transaction and not knowing how to have a conversation and explain it to them. And so we've been doing a lot of educating real estate agents on how you structure those types of deals so that they can then get the answers and the information
Yeah.
from them and get it to us so we can help them draft a good contract.
And I think, when it comes to health and money, people sometimes want that first door to be open in their own language because it's challenging.
Yeah, 100%.
It's very risky, very, very difficult.
I mean, it's one of the biggest purchases. We talk about how it can be the biggest and most meaningful purchase of your life.
Right.
You want to be able to have that conversation in
Yes.
your first language, not have to then have to worry about understanding the language and the actual structure of the deal. I
Right,
totally
and
understand that.
understanding it.
All right, the second question I want to talk about: what is the biggest value add that the Hispanic community has to real estate professionals? What do they bring to the table that maybe somebody else what does that community bring to the table that may not be available for other people?
I don't want to say that they bring in a financial way, but more in the loyalty way.
Cool.
You have a mother, you may have a daughter or a son, because more single women do own houses than men do.
Yeah.
So I think when you take into consideration all those dynamics, it's wonderful to they invite you for a lunch.
Yeah.
For I'm going to inaugurate my house.
If
or
any of y'all want to
things
invite me
like
to have
that.
authentic lunch with you guys, I'm available.
Yes,
I would love
we're going to have
do
you on
that.
speed dial. But I think it's loyalty.
Yes.
We come from really a community where that is extremely valuable.
Yeah. I
You
can
know,
see
not
that
only you're
100%.
valuable to your friends, to your family,
Right.
to your community, to your realtor,
Yeah.
to your attorney.
Yeah.
Because you do a transaction with them, and then when something happens, who do you think you're gonna call?
That's your lawyer for life. I get it. And
Exactly.
I think that the trust and loyalty are two huge factors. I think I'm glad you said that. Like Natalia, we have a great relationship with her, and I think that it goes beyond just the loyalty and trust. It's to the point where there's a lot of honesty involved too.
Yes.
Right.
And, it's like very direct and like if there's something that needs to be addressed, it's conversations that we
Yeah.
can have directly and we can talk about it, come to a resolution,
Right.
and not necessarily a personal thing. It's if we
Yes.
trust each other and we're loyal, we can have honest conversations and it helps the relationship get stronger.
And I think once they trust you,
yeah, you're in.
Right.
they trust you all the way.
Not only that, and to just piggybacking on what you just said, because that is a huge point. Loyalty. Once you have you service a Hispanic family and they are happy with you, not only are they loyal, but they will refer you
Yes.
to their family, to their friends, to anyone that they hear of. I mean, they will be your walking billboard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
your biggest advocate, and so that is one of the biggest things, and that goes hand in hand with loyalty.
That's
And I
very cool.
think
yeah.
another thing that I'm very proud of of our culture, it's one of our cultures, is because I say I'm a Catricana. Catricana is what a Catracha is what they call people from Honduras, and I'm half Honduran. Half my family lives there and half American, so I'm a Catricana.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, one of the things that I love is that they're very committed and they're very hardworking.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when they have a goal, they go after it. And they don't mind doing the jobs that most people don't want to do. Even my cousin, who was very influential, in Honduras, came and started working as a business owner and worked as, cleaning homes in order to get established, selling food, a lot of the basic, jobs that our culture actually does. And so when they have a goal, they're committed, they're savers, they'll make it happen.
Cool.
And I think they're very resilient.
Very cool.
And I think
Yeah.
that's why the Hispanic population keeps growing.
They make a full commitment. I tell you, most
Yeah.
of my clients know my cat, like a one-on-one basis.
Yeah.
Kind of a name.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Well,
in the
very good.
numbers, right? With the 139%. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, you said
we're
it.
committed.
So
Data supports it.
yeah, so
Yes.
I think this is great. I hope more people have learned about y'all's group. Y'all are trying to
Thank
grow
you.
into the North Shore in October. We haven't picked a date exactly yet. There's two options on the
Yes,
table.
during Hispanic Heritage Month, which
Yeah.
is September 15th to October 15th, we are going to be hosting an event, and it's going to be kind of like a trade show style networking, roundtable discussion, and a lunch. So more information to come with that. And then we also have on December 2nd our end of the year gala, where we're going to have a featured guest speaker. So tune in for more information.
Will it be like some like salsa
Yeah.
dancing and things like that?
Oh,
Does it-
yeah.
We encourage you to get carried away.
All right, that sounds good to me. And some tequila maybe.
And also, I think
Absolutely.
we were talking about doing something maybe around Lago Fest,
Yes,
right?
yes, on
Yeah.
the North Shore, with
So
Lago
definitely
Fest,
on the
which
North Shore.
what Arena is heavily involved in. So that's very cool. And we talked. We want to make everybody aware of how they can get in touch with you guys. So anybody on the board, obviously
Yes.
reach out to the board. Natalia's behind the camera over here.
Yes.
She's on the North
Yes.
Shore. If you want to get
Yes.
in touch with her on the North Shore, do you have a social media page? Do you have a website?
Yes.
We do.
Yes.
NAHREP Sela is on Facebook.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And we'll put all this in the show notes so people can go and look
Sure.
at it and see
Yes.
that. And they're going to update everybody about the events you have on that
And
website.
our website as well. So
Very cool. Well, I appreciate y'all coming today.
Thank you so
thank
much for having
you.
us.
Yeah.